Welcome to the Abergavenny canteen. Today we'll be making a local delicacy, the Welsh Rarebit. You will need a rarebit. Take your rarebit and slowly dice until tender. I'm only joking. Rarebit's a glorified cheese on toast. You will need 25 grams of flour, 140 grams of cheese, 25 grams of butter, Worcestershire sauce to taste, chopped chives, 120 millilitres of brown ale. Today we're going with Moorhouse's Blonde Witch or Blondie Witch, and some sourdough. And yes, I've sanitised since the rabbit's been there, don't worry. This is the first time I'm making Welsh Rarebit, so don't hate me if I'm doing it wrong. We all have to start somewhere. I've heated up the ale in a small pot so that the emulsification process goes smoother whilst I'm melting the butter in another pan and then mixing in the flour. Once the butter and flour have been combined, I'm going to pour in the warm ale and then mix that together. It makes a sort of paste like you're making bechamel sauce, but instead of using milk we're using ale. Then after all that's nice and mixed in, we're going to add the cheese and then mix all that cheese in until it's nice and melted and it all goes into one big yummy paste. Then we add in some mustard. I didn't put that in the ingredients bit, I forgot, sorry. And then we're going to add some Worcestershire sauce to taste. This is the consistency it's ended up like. I think it's correct from the videos I've seen. I'm not really sure, I'm not an expert. Then we just pour that on our toasted sourdough and sprinkle on some chopped chives. Now I can't eat this because I have celiac disease. But the guinea pig hasn't died yet, so we're going to call that one a success. And that's enough food talk, let's get on with the European journeyman. Well, here we are then at the end of the season. We finished second as expected behind Britain Ferry. They finished with 69 points from 30 games. We got 61 from 30. Not much we could do to catch them. We ended with 3 defeats and 10 draws to their 5 losses and 3 draws. We almost bottled second position to Carew Ellie, but managed to hold on to cement a second place position finish. Records then, we've got a record high finish for Abergavenny, finishing second in the second division of Wales. We've got a record low number of defeats with just 3. Henry Blake was the second highest goal scorer in the league, and Curtis Strong and Blake made it into the Dream 11. Going into the summer transfer window, I'm wanting to switch to this formation, playing a 3-4-2-1, trying to overlap on the wings, playing out of defence, playing shorter passes and a higher tempo and trying to get the ball into the box as soon as we can. I just noticed Britain Ferry were playing a kind of slick passing style, and this is supposed to emulate that while getting quite a strong presence all over the pitch. This doesn't look very good now because the playing staff that we've got at the moment aren't exactly suited to what we're trying to do. Gino Keane, for example, very good right back that we've had this season. He's averaged a 6.7, but he's been improving throughout the season. He's a very good right back, but he's not a very competent right wing back yet. However, I am training him to play there, so hopefully by the start of the first game of the season, he will be better. Curtis Strong, with his 19 assists in all competitions, has also got an issue with the same area, who can play left back, but he's okay at left wing back. And he's being trained to play there too. We're going to look to strengthen specifically the backline and the attacking midfield roles, but obviously we'll be looking at the whole squad, with our non-contracted players probably going to depart to better clubs if somebody does come in for them. In the other 2 formation slots, I've just got a more attacking version of the 3-4-2-1 that we're wanting to play, and a defensive 3-5-2 that we can use to see out the games if we need to. We're going to be trying to counter and counter press as soon as we can. In that possession, we're going to try and funnel the ball into our 3 centre-backs and 2 defensive midfielders, try to win the ball back, and then play it upfield as soon as possible. A quick look at the fixtures since we last left off then. Our defeat to Britain Ferry 1-0 in the end of the last episode was there, and then we drew the next 2 games, 1-1, drew 1, and won the last 2, meaning we dropped 6 points overall. But even if we didn't drop those 6 points, Britain Ferry, the immovable object, would have still won the league and gone up. End of season review now for season 1, Abergavenny Town, 24-25. The new arrivals, there's been about 3,000 million. The signing of the season was Jason Douglas, apparently, but I disagree with that. But he got 10 goals, mainly in the cup games against non-league teams, in his 4 appearances and 15 sub-appearances. I'd personally give it to Henry Blake, but he doesn't get a board reaction for some reason. Season results, we got an A- in the league for finishing second, a B in the Welsh Cup for getting to the quarter-final, a C plus for the Welsh League Cup, and a C plus for the Tier 2 League Cup. Goal of the season goes to Henry Blake in the 4-1 win against Llanelli Town that was in episode 2. Free kick, I believe. Let's go get it up. Yep, it was the one, the very same cracking goal into the top right hand corner against Llanelli. Revenue wise, pretty green across the board, but the sponsorship has remained the same as last season. We made a massive £347 from merchandise, £34 of which one person probably buying a shirt outside of Wales, probably from England, and our reputation hasn't changed much. This is the team of the year in our 4-3-3, and I pretty much agree with that. The accolades then: Henry Blake gets the most goals by a player in a season with 24, and the same with league goals with 19. He's had a fantastic season, Henry Blake, at 17-year-old. I don't think we're going to have him at the start of the season. I think somebody's probably going to come in for him. I'd be surprised if we still had him. He's not on a youth contract anymore. He's signed a non-contract because he's 17 now. Curtis Strong with 19 assists is the most assists this year. Henry Blake got the most man of the matches with 8, and he's also got the highest average rating with a 7.4. Abergavenny have been brilliant since day one, and their early season football was a joy to watch. Speaking of early season football, I'm not sure if it was prudent to change from the 4-3-3 we were playing to the 4-2-3-1. Looking at the schedule, it doesn't look like the results changed too much. There might be a bit more green at the top there, but maybe in hindsight it was a bit of a mistake. No changes to the wage budget then, 1.1k a week. Financially, we're sitting £8,000 in the red, and we are projected to get even redder, but in the grand scheme of things it's not that much money. But if we do get promoted to the Welsh Premier League and then get a place in Europe, that'll clear up very quickly. Expectations for next season then: we are supposed to gain promotion to the Welsh Premier League and try to repair the club's financial damage that I've just mentioned. The problem is I don't really have a way of doing that because we can't sell players because they're on non-contracts unless they're youth players, but I don't think anybody's going to want to sign them. But the goal is very clear. We need to win the league this season, but that was my goal going into it anyway. So if we don't, I think we're going to move on. And if we do, we'll see where we want to end up at the end of the season. The first signing is in then, James Jones, who would have thought, a centre-back where we're trying to improve. He's come in, he has made 3 appearances for Altrincham last season. He's a leading Welsh Division 2 player, and he'll slot in at the back nicely. And the first departure, Kyle Patton, has been released by me. He was putting us above the wage budget, which was affecting how much we could offer players, and I wasn't really happy with how he played last season. I thought he was going to be the answer, but he was not. So he's gone, sadly. He was probably going to leave anyway. I've been looking at a few of the players that we have, and there's a lot of players who have interest in them, and they're all non-contracted, as I keep saying, so the likelihood is they're probably going to go. Pritchard, for example, he has 3 Welsh Premier League teams in for him, so I don't think we're going to be having Cian Pritchard much longer. And 3 more departures on the same logic as Kyle Patton. Tom Creamer, Matthew Jones and Samarin Dool are all off because we're going to try and improve the squad drastically, and they seem to be wanting to leave, and we're weighing the wage budget down slightly. Another new addition is in, George Williams, who has been at Hemel Hempstead most recently. He had 4 goals and 44 appearances in the National League South last season. He can play as an attacking midfielder or on either wing, so if I do change from this 3-4-2-1, he can slot in on the left wing or the right wing, or centrally if we do need to. And the youth intakes here, the pick of the bunch is Sam Evans, and he looks pretty awful, so I think they're just going to go straight out. Pritchard has signed a new contract, and that's dissuaded some interest in him, so hopefully he'll stick around. I mean, it's still a non-contract, so in theory teams can just come in and pick him up, but maybe we can just keep signing non-contracts and dissuading teams from signing him on repeat, and they'll just stay with us forever. We'll see. I've arranged a load of friendlies: Blackpool, Burton Albion, Bradford City, Bristol Rovers, Chesterfield and Newport County all coming in to get us a little bit of money. we're going to be getting 2,500, 2,000, a bit of money, about £5,000 in total, and that will double our overall balance, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it all helps. And then we've got a few friendlies to get fitness up and try to get a bit of revenge on Britain Ferry if we can. Similar to last year, we've got a big trial farm coming in that's going to be coming in on repeat. Just going to be cycling the players in and out as they come in. I've also this year tried to bolster the team with a load of free loans. Sam Granville, Grantley Doge and Jack Blower coming in. Hopefully they'll just sit in the team. If they're any good, we'll use them. If they're not any good, they'll go back to where they came from. The new loan signings are here. O'Brien, Granville and Griffiths all come into the starting 11 as it stands. They're not fantastic, but they're better than what we've got. The season preview, before we get all the players in, we're sitting down in third. Pontypridd, who have just been relegated, second, and Cardiff Mets, who were quite high in the season previews last season, still up there, but I'm not entirely sure they're that good. We have a new right wing back in, Josh Beecher. He got a concussion in one of the friendlies we were playing, but he's come through at Cardiff and has been on loan at Haverfordwest in the Welsh Premier last season. From the 8 starts he had, he got 4 assists, so hopefully he'll do well for us. He comes in straight on the right wing back position as Gino Keane is still training up there. He can't play there, but Beecher will be better. It also seems that my little trick with giving Pritchard a new contract hasn't worked. Aberystwyth and Pontypridd are interested in him, and he's got offers from Ballatown and Caerphon from the Welsh Premier, so I don't expect him to stick around too much longer. I mean, on paper he is a leading Welsh Premier League player, and he did get 12 goals and 8 assists from the wing last season for us, so he probably is too good for us. Similar to last season where we couldn't fill the centre defensive midfield role, the attacking midfield role seems to be quite sparse in the transfer market. Williams has got injured and he's dropped to his 2-star reputation, so I was looking for replacements because Pallett's got interested in them as well, and Twose looks like he's on his way out to Colwyn Bay, but no attacking midfielders seem to be out there at the moment. No loans, no transfers or anything. I've been trying to dip myself back into the loan market again, but these players just won't want to sign for us, and these two are just bad, and they're the only ones that we've got available to us really. So we might have to rethink the whole formation if the attacking midfield roles can't be filled. Pritchard has opted to stay though, which is nice, but kind of awkward because we've already signed his replacement, Ryan Shallis, from Newport County on loan. We're paying £50 a week of his wages, which doesn't sound like a lot, but to us it is quite a lot. We're getting close to the wage budget, and it's affecting what contracts we can pay out. This is the squad at the moment. The weak areas are in attacking midfield, I think, because it looks like players will be leaving. But maybe they'll stay, like Pritchard. We'll see. I've also brought in a couple more loan players. Doge is a midfielder who can play attacking midfield and defensive midfield. He's on loan from Carmarthen Town. Caleb James Richards on loan from Ballatown, a very similar sort of player. Not very good, but he'll suit the team. Lewis Lines from Coventry City, a sub-goalkeeper, and another sub-goalkeeper, Halim Bakri from Newton Town. I just brought them in to see if they're any good because they're not costing us anything. They're not very good, and they're probably just going to sit there. And Hurley is going to go down to the youth team, and then he's probably going to get released when his youth contract expires. Our starting goalkeeper Lewis Ridd has left us for Radcliffe in the National League North to go along with Evans, if he's still there. Yes, he is. So it's a good thing we signed so many keepers. We have 3 at the club, so they'll just slot in. They're not quite as good, but they'll have to do, I suppose. Right, that brings us to the end of the transfer window for the Pennies, or at least the first game of the season against Pontardawe in the Cup. We're expected to win against them in the Cup. The squad's looking like this. Not entirely chuffed with the outcome, but we're not incredibly worse off than we were at the end of the transfer window last season, and we could still improve. We'll see. Quite good coverage, and the familiarity is building. I've been hammering the team bonding in the pre-season, and the team cohesion's above average already, so hopefully that'll get to excellent throughout the season. We have Bakary in goal, O'Brien, Martinez and Jones is the back line, Strong, Griffin, Denny and Beecher, and Williams and Pallett behind Blake, who we've managed to retain up top. On the subject of retaining players though, AFC Wimbledon have come in for Keane, Cody Twose has a bid from Gresford, and Pritchard has another bid from Pontypridd to contend with. We have a few loan signings, more than a few loan signings. We've got 10 now in the squad, and we've got a couple of 5 or 6 players down in the youth system who I will just plug in if we need. These two I'm probably going to return to the parent club so I don't upset them. I'm still planning to use the 3-4-2-1, but I have also just decided to plug in this 4-2-3-1. This formation will accommodate Pritchard and Chalice. So if the 3-4-2-1 doesn't work, we can go back to this, and hopefully that'll change our fortunes around. It'll leave us a bit light up top on the bench, but it's another option there for if we need it. The season preview has us second behind Cardiff Met Uni still, Pontypridd in third now. I think they're going to be our main rivals for the championship. I've got a couple of players that I'm looking at on our shortlist. Louis Giles is a really good left winger who's come through at Cardiff. He doesn't want to continue talks with us at the moment, but he'd be perfect to fit in on the left back or left wing role if we do manage to get him in. We haven't done particularly well in pre-season, but that's to be expected. We're playing much better teams. But that's it, the transfer window done. We'll be back tomorrow with the cup game against Pontedari and the first game of the league season against Canton FC, who I believe came up from the third tier last season. Yes, they did. Not feeling incredibly confident about winning the league this season, but we did maintain quite a few players that we had from last season, so hopefully we can do well. We'll see. Tune in next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.